Hello, people. Welcome and thank you for tuning in our Bettery Hub channels, professional series, live chats, your weekly dose of transformative business ideas and solutions, where we bring you business leaders, industry experts, and game changers who are making the difference and the impact in their respective industries, locally and globally. So stay tuned and engage with us to learn how our leaders got to where they are today and discover their X factor. Now, I'm your host, Sakti, certified and qualified to bring you satisfaction and a whole lot of action with our guest speaker for the next 1 hour. Now, today, I am really thrilled to bring on our guest speaker, Dev Rai. But before that, just let me give you a brief introduction. Now, he's the Vice President of Global Sourcing for the Sourceability Group of Companies and the Director of Sourceability Singapore Private Limited. 21 years of experience in electronic component distribution. Dave is one of the founding fathers of Sourceability. With headquarters in Miami, he created the Singapore entity from scratch in 2015 July. Today, there are 80 employees just in Singapore alone within a span of 5 years. Can you believe it? 5 years. And his company's total revenue today is US dollars 160 million with almost 300 people globally. Now, on Dave's personal side, he's happily married for 12 years with 2 boys, and his love and passion for football has not changed since his younger days. Why do I know that? Well, you will know in a while. Now, let's be inspired as I bring on Dev Rai to share his journey from a young polytechnic student to where he is today. Hello,
Wow.
Dave.
Wow, what an introduction, man. You do it better than me. Fantastic, Sakti. Fantastic.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Thanks. Hey, Dave. First of all, I'd like to, thank you and appreciate, to be on our show amidst your busy schedule. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on the show. I'm really happy where you've come. You've come a long way. The Bettery channel is fantastic now. I've been watching the last few editions. It's been really good.
Hey, thank
For
you.
me, we've all been in our homes working the last couple of months. For me, a
Yes.
little bit more than others because I was in Hong Kong during the Chinese New Year period. So when I came back, I had to quarantine myself as well, 14 days. And then, again, my hands were a bit itchy. So I went to Bali after that. And after that, I had to quarantine myself. So I've been in my bedroom, as you guys can see. Right? This is my allocated space. My chief officer, gave me this space to work from at least the last 3 to 4 months. So it's been a journey, but I am grateful for this opportunity to still continue to work and to be able to talk to you today.
Dave, out of whatever we're talking about, your chief officer's decision to keep you close to her in the bedroom to make sure you are just down there, not going anywhere else. I think it's a strategic move.
Yeah. I agree. As I said, also, they just announced yesterday in Singapore for those watching from overseas. We are into our phase 2 coming into this weekend. So it's a big progress, I guess, for Singaporeans who've been, in their homes for the longest time. No eating outside, no meeting with friends. So this weekend, everything changes, and the significance as well is because it's Father's Day, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna go out as a family, 3 of us, 4 of us. We're gonna go have some dinner, and I'm really interested to see how that is. What is the new normal?
Yeah.
How the tables are put, how the chairs are spread out. So my wife was screaming like, yes, we made it and this and that. So one thing I want to say though, okay, I've seen a lot of chats, I've seen a lot of interviews. This is my first one. I like to tell everybody, I know there's a lot of people watching, right? You can comment, you can leave your questions. I'm going to answer. Just say hi, please. I like to pretty much know, who is there, who is watching. A lot of you I've not seen in a while. So I'm very excited. I like to say that if you look at me now, I'm dressed in my full suit. I have a pair of pants on. A lot of people believe that nobody wears their pants during interviews online. So I just want to state that clear, right? This is me. You told me to be myself, right? This is the first thing I want to show.
Now that Dave has listened to what he's wearing, I wouldn't want to do that, because
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
no, I did
You
not say I'm
wanna?
not wearing a pants, but I think the view, all of you
Yeah.
guys out there, you trust me that I've been wearing a
I do.
pants.
I trust you. I trust you. I don't want to distract the ladies. There are a lot of ladies watching. So I want them to focus on the content, right? I don't want to focus on anything else. So there you go. Focus on the content. Okay. The full suit, two guys here, two guys who look similar, full beard, This is,
Yeah.
by the way, this is not my caveman look. I had it before the circuit breaker period, right, Sakti?
Dave, now that we are talking about beard itself, we have Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. He's straight away the first comment of the day is love the beard, bro.
Bro,
So,
what's up, man? Beautiful. I love the beard.
so we have our first compliment of the day was from Daniel, and he's talking about our beard. So I think that's a good start, and definitely. And we have Jackie. Hi, Jackie. Hi to Sakti and Dave. Hi, Jackie. Thank you so much for tuning
Hi,
in.
Jackie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So let's move on. For those of you guys, who've been waiting. I mean, there's been a lot been hype. In fact, it's been since a long time since I got excited and thrilled. Before an interview, I was up at 11 o'clock.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So, Dave, let's talk about yourself. Being the VP of Global Sourcing and so on. Let's talk about yourself, your business, and the journey behind your current success.
Sure. If you look at me, right, some people might think, oh, he's talking to some yoga master, some yoga guru, maybe a tattoo artist, somebody who's a, hairstylist, a barber. I get a lot of that. When they see my tattoos, they see my hair, they say, okay, this guy must be in some alternative trade or something like that, right? But actually, I work for Sourceability. We started Sourceability together 5 years ago, and Sourceability actually is a technology company. Right. So, but we are also in that old school space of semiconductor distribution and electronic components. So believe it or not, since coming out of national service, 21, 22 years, right, all my working life has been in the semiconductor industry. Sakti already said Sourceability 5 years old in July next month. We're going to have a big celebration. I don't know how, but of course, we're going to use technology. We're going to do it online.
Yeah, Dave, but I got a very important question for you.
Yeah.
Like, how did you get into this, semiconductors industry? How did you,
Okay,
when
it's a funny story. Okay, it's a funny story. I wanna explain that, but do most of the viewers know what the semiconductor industry is about? Right? Should I explain a little bit about what the industry is? Because it really is, right? Your day-to-day life, you cannot do without it. Everything you have now, you're using this technology to speak to me, to have this chat, right? Everything has anything and everything to do with semiconductors and electronic components. So if you give me 5 minutes, right, I just want to use, do you have in front of you like a laptop, right? Something that you can refer to. I want to just use an example of a laptop. Before even going into semiconductors and electronic components, if you look at your laptop, right, you see the screen in front of you. There's a panel in the screen, right? There's a 14-inch panel, 13-inch panel. If you talk about your television, there's 55-inch panels, 65-inch panels. So first of all, there's a panel. Then there's a keyboard, and there's all this plastic casing. There's a camera. There's a power supply, right? There's a USB port. There is video conferencing. There's so many things just on the outside, just in the outside. So if you look at the major brands of laptops, for example, I just want to use a HP, Dell, Lenovo, people like this, right? They've been building for a long time. Apple, they don't build anything themselves. Right? They come up with an idea, they have this concept, oh, I'm going to make something faster, I'm going to make something bigger, I'm going to make something stronger, but they outsource everything, right, to the EMS world, the contract manufacturing world, right? Which means, okay, the LCD alone, the panel that I'm talking about, right, is outsourced to Samsung, to Sharp, right? Companies like that, to whoever that makes AU or Taiwanese companies and things like that. The keyboard is outsourced to another company, probably in Taiwan and China or the US. The power supply, famously made in China or Taiwan as well. Right? So everything is outsourced in the outside, and everything comes into play when all the products are ready and they are assembled together. right? So if I remove the outer casing, what you see inside is a motherboard, right? I think you studied electrical engineering. I don't know how well you did, but maybe you know a little bit.
You don't see me in the electronics or technology industry, so if
Yeah,
you know
yeah. I
by
don't want to
now.
go into details, Sakti, because I know you have a diploma. You might use it against me, right? So I won't go in detail. Right? If you go underneath, that's where I come in. Right? There's this motherboard, and then you have SSDs or hard disks for storage. You have memory chips, right? You have capacitors, you have resistors, you have your Intel or your AMD processor, right? There are so many things that goes into making this laptop. At the end of the day, maybe you buy, let's say, a MacBook for $2,000. I'm not sure, right? I'm just guessing here because I'm not a MacBook user. But let's say it's around $2,000. The cost to make this product is probably around $1,000, maybe less. But the magic is that every single chip and everything else outside and inside, from the plastics to the metal, is outsourced to everybody around the world. And magically, in 3 months or 4 months, from the start of the project to the end of the project, right, they somehow all come together and form your laptop.
Cool.
You get the whole idea. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing with your phone. It's the same thing with a washing machine, a dryer, a television set, a setup box. Right? Anything you use that has batteries or is then connected to an electric socket, right, has chips inside, and that's why this industry is essential. Because when you talk about the COVID cases that we have right now, right? Hospitals and everybody is rushing for ventilators, right? And ventilators are full of semiconductors and components, and the companies are rushing to build them. So it's all hands on deck. The last 4 months have been super, super busy, right? And we've been helping the medical industry, especially to meet their goals and to come up with the ventilators and the machines and everything else that's needed in the medical profession. Yeah. So going back to the first question, how did I get into this industry? Nobody is born wanting and dreaming that one day I want to design and sell components. No. That was not the case. Right. So it's a funny story, really. So if my mother is listening, I don't know if she will be, but I'm sure somebody will show her. She told me to stop playing football. Right? When I was 18, 19, she told me, look, you made it into a Nanyang Polytechnic, you're a manufacturing engineering student, well done to you, right? Football will not take you anywhere. It's Singapore, for goodness sake, right? Focus on your studies, do well, get yourself educated, and then you can take care of your family later. So I said, okay. I mean, I know that she made a little bit of sense, but when you're 18 and 19, you don't listen to people. Right.
You know,
You listen.
Dave, sorry to disturb you, but I think
Yeah.
a lot this particular advice will resonate with a lot of us, in our younger days.
Everybody watching, if they know us and they knew us from before, or all my friends from outside, or people who do this business, right, they know exactly what we're talking about, right? It might not be football, it might not be sports, but if you're a gamer, if you have other loves, right? I don't care. Even if playing chess, sometimes you just get really, into it, and you don't want to do anything else. And where does your money come from? You have a roof. Hang on, just let me shut down my email. Okay, that's a noise coming up. Yeah, okay, because you have a roof right over your head. Your parents give you money. You have food. You don't even need to eat. I mean, who cares about eating, right? All you want to do is hang out with your friends and do what you love. So at that point of time, right, I continue playing football. And when it was 3 months before my ORD, 3 months before I came out of the army, my cousin-in-law, who was already in this business, right, actually joined a company in Singapore, a Boston-based company. They had just opened up in Singapore. 1999 it was, I think. It's so long ago, right? 1999, just opened up in Singapore, and they were recruiting, and they were going to start this semiconductor distribution business, bring all the customers who are now producing in Asia, but actually a US brand like HP, Dell, they're all US brands, but they produce in Asia. They're going to bring all these companies into Asia, and they would try to support these companies out of the Singapore hub, right? So when he joined them, they actually started a football team.
Okay.
It's difficult. It's difficult to start a football team when you only have 7 guys and 15 employees, right?
Okay.
So what they did was the GM was a Japanese gentleman. The director was, I think he was from the US. He was from the US, right? He played a little bit of football, but okay, in a funny way, right? And there's a few others, like all the top guys, head of purchasing and everything. They all love the game. Head of logistics, head of quality. I know his name was Johari. He loved the game as well. And he said, okay, everybody go back to your family and friends and let's go get as many people as we can and let's start this football team going.
Okay.
Right. And so my cousin contacted me. He said, Dave, come on, we need you to play for us. So I showed up in the first game and I said, oh, okay, this is a fancy bunch of people from all over the world gathering into Singapore. But, I was not exposed to that at that time, because I was 17, 18 years old. No, at that time I was 20, 21. I was serving national service. It's all Singaporeans, you get to that mindset of in the army and this and that. So I decided I'll just be myself, right? What was I really good at? I was really good at playing football, right? Even if somebody told me that I was not good, I believed that I was good. So every time I stepped onto the pitch, right, I gave it 100%. And these guys thought I was crazy. They said, "Man, look at this guy playing. It's a friendly match. It's 12 noon, sun burning down. He's running up, down, up, down, up, down, right?" And then they said, "Okay, and this guy, after 5-6 games, they said, okay, if this is his mindset and this is how he's going to play, then I think this is how he's going to work as well." So I remember it was the director and the GM, the Japanese guy and the American guy. They came to me and they said, okay, what qualifications do you have? I said, okay, I have a diploma in engineering and such on. And they said, what do you plan to do after your national service? Right? I said, I have no plans. I have no idea. I wanted to be like everybody else, go out, send your resumes, and then see what happened. So I remember I was sending my resumes and I think, a few factories replied back. Sumitomo, I remember this was one of them. And I went for interview to be a supervisor in a production line. Production line, right? And then I went for the interview. Everything was good and this and that. And I said, okay, they will give me the job. But this company, NECX, came back and said, okay, we have a buyer position available. We want you to come down for an interview. So I said, okay, when you're young, when you're 21, 22, what do? You go to G2000, you buy the blue shirt from G2000, you buy the black pants from G2000, right? And then you borrow your father's shoes because you're the same size.
This is where the value of making use of every available resources comes in, right?
Every available resource. Dear uncle, dear auntie, can I borrow your bag? Whatever it is, right? And then I show up at this interview. It's my first ever interview. So I said, okay, man, my first ever interview. These are two big guys. They've done this a long time. Back then, the internet and was not too big yet. You didn't go online to check too many things. So limited information came from their website and came from their brochures. So I did a bit of research, right? I didn't go in blind. I didn't take things for granted, that, they were going to give me the job because I played football well or I played for them. And so when I stepped in, 3 of them came and they sat down and they said, okay, who are you, Dave? Why are you here? Right? So I said, what is this? Is this a joke? You know who I am, right? But, it was their way of sort of intimidating me, right? Okay. And like, okay, let's see what he's made of. So I said, okay, this is who I am. This is who I am. I said, unfortunately, I don't have too much experience in this line or in any working experience of any sort, right? But I'm going to tell you that if you give me this job, I'm going to go in 100%. I'm going to learn quickly, right? And I'm going to make things happen. So they were actually pulling my leg. They were going to give me the job anyway because they already seen what kind of person I was, right? But they wanted to see how much I wanted it, right? And I was very impressed by them because what I learned, right? Later we're going to talk about leaders and how you present yourself and what you do and what not, right? These guys, right? They gave me, right? They gave me a package and they said, this is what we think you are worth. Right? They didn't look at everybody else and said, oh, polytechnic graduates should get $1,600. No, right? They say, if we give you this much money, and then on top of that, we're going to give you commission, right? We think that you as a human being, regardless of what experience you have, right? You should go in, prove to us that you deserve this money, and then take your commission, and then be way beyond what a normal graduate would start earning, right? So yeah, that's pretty much. So if your parents, if your uncles, your aunties are watching and they say, hey, don't play football, don't play games, don't do anything outside studies, that's wrong, right? I don't agree with it, because if you do that, you mingle with people, you make a good impression, right? You sportsmanship, you are honest in what you do, you give it 100%, people will notice. And when people notice, right, they will ask about you, they want to talk to you, and then good things will happen after that. I'm a firm believer of that.
Yeah, definitely. And in fact, for those of you, when I was introducing Dave and I was talking about, Dave being passionate about football. Now, how did I meet Dave for the first time? It was many, many years ago. I don't want to go in the time, it's like going to be
94, 94,
yeah, 94. And
94.
it was the Nanyang Polytechnic soccer or football team selections. And
Yeah.
I was one of them, going there. We were like first years. And then I see this tall chap running on the wing. And I was like, who's this guy? I say, that's Dave. I say, okay, that's the first time I saw him. And, we lost contact. You were later we'll be talking about your journey to Hong Kong and so on.
Correct.
And
Correct.
after many years, we met again in a football pitch. And even till now, the only thing that saddens us most is about COVID-19 is the fact that, we are not able to have our monthly or weekly sessions on football, So
Yeah.
we still meet up for football. And that's when I met Dave many years ago in our polytechnic. It was on the pitch itself. And yes, as much our parents would have told us, don't play football, it doesn't feed you. But the reality is sometimes it was through sports that we got to be where we are today,
I
exposing.
hope I agree with you, Shakti. And just before we move on to another topic as well, I want to make sure on the sports thing, right? I believe, I don't want this to be a political discussion or everything, but I believe a lot more can be done, right, to promote both, sports and studies, and just making you a whole person, if you know what I'm trying to say, right? I
Yes.
feel too much of one thing is done in Singapore, right? And if the people in the US, right, this is Silicon Valley, this is where people make the billion-trillion-dollar companies, right? If they can have college football, college soccer, college baseball, and people turn professional in any sport, even poker, right? People play poker and become professional, right? But they also have a degree behind them. So why can't we? Right? What do you think?
Hey, I think good. And another point is Bina. Hi, Bina.
There you go,
Welcome.
family in the house.
Yeah, family in the house. Thank you, Bina. And just like I do agree, sports is definitely important. Why? I think one of the key things is this. When you like your case, Dave. Uh, I think the owners of the businesses, when they decided to hire you, I mean
Yeah.
they saw some of those character that you displayed on the field that you will never be
Yes.
able to see in any closed door interview.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think there are two key lessons I learned myself, and I think you were really lucky to learn that at a young age. Is that first of all, don't let anybody write down what's your value based on your
Exactly.
academic qualifications. I think that's
Exactly.
something that we always believe, academic
Correct.
qualifications are supposed to help us to do things,
Yes.
but
It's a
that's not.
platform. It's a stepping stone.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, it's important, but definitely, that's not the only thing that will determine how much we earn or what's our potential and so on. So
Correct.
yes, I do agree. Sports is important and it is to be an integral part of our lives. I mean, it was. I remember that in our younger days, when we need to play football, we don't need to go to to book a pitch. It's under the
Oh yeah.
block, any
Oh yeah.
any open area, basketball court. In fact, we also practice a lot of racial tolerance and harmony because we were like
Oh man.
negotiation
I
skills with the basketball players.
Sakti, the ball was white and black. The
Yes.
ball was white and black. Everybody else was either my teammate or not my teammate. Right?
Yes.
And you talk about inspiration, right? Has there been a greater inspiration in your life than 1986, Diego Maradona, right?
Oh.
Winning the World Cup, destroying England, right? And just dribbling everybody. I mean, not only talking about football, they talk about life journeys, that was so inspirational. I just wanted to take the ball, right, which of course the whole community shared because we only had 20 cents in our pocket, right,
Yep.
to buy one plastic ball and say, please don't break the ball, please don't break the ball, right? Okay, Bina Rai, Dr. Bina Rai just said something, right? Dr. Bina Rai played football in NUS. She represented NUS, right? Football was her love from young as well. I know you didn't know that, right? When she was younger, when we were 9 or 10, she's my sister, of course, right? She was actually a better player. I'm now saying it live on TV, right? On this channel, sorry. Yeah, she was a better player starting off, right? And she continued. She loved the game, but said for ladies at that time, they didn't know where to go to play. So they play with the boys for a while, and then after that, they just lost track. And it's like, okay, what do I do? But just of course, okay, now the knee and my knees are both busted 4 or 5 times. So we're taking it slow for now, but but that's the passion. You cannot take the passion away.
Yeah. I think sports definitely, molded a lot of virtues and values within us since young. Be resourceful. If you don't have a ball, find a ball. If you don't have a goal, make one. If you don't have a place to play, find one. That was. And I do agree that today it has to be done. But again, we will not dwell into this topic. Hopefully, the right people are listening to our chat and already thinking what they want to do about this. Now we have Aisha Rai. Thank you so much. And we have a very own NYP Saravanan. If you remember, hi Saravanan.
Oh my, wow.
NYP rocks. We have a whole big gang of NYP mates will be coming in, I think, along the way.
All right. Sati, tell them why NYP rocks, Sati. Tell them why people in our course rocks, right? Where did we come from? We came from nothing, right? Yes. Did anybody really wanted to study engineering, or was it because we couldn't go anywhere else? Mass comm, people with 6.7 points were going into mass comms, we're doing all other things that I wanted to do, right? True. As you can see, I'm very passionate about speaking, right? But okay, maybe not too much engineering, but it's all right. Okay, you put me in NYP. I made up with people like yourself, right? Everybody comes from the same class almost, right? We all live in our HDBs. We all have probably one parent that's working, right? Yeah. So exactly to your point, what inspired me to be, that's the side, right? My friends, we were all in this together. So as much as we wanted to play, we realized as well that, hey, if you don't pass your exams, if you don't do well and don't move forward to the next step, then you're wasting your parents' time, you're wasting your time, and this time is better spent somewhere else. Go start working or doing something else, right? Yeah. And it's easy for me, right? Because when I look left and right, and if you're playing football and you look at the boots, if you're coming to school, you look at your shoes and you see there's holes in the shoes, there's holes in the jeans, it's dirty. This guy has one pair of jeans, maybe 2 pair of jeans. He has one pair of boots or shoes that he's dragging for the longest time because it's $30, $40, $50. And that's a lot of money at that time. To ask my father for money to do that, he will say, don't play football. Don't waste time. Right? So a lot of us did a lot of part-time jobs as well. Right? We worked in the weekend, we worked after school, we did sales jobs, selling shoes, things like that. I remember giving up pamphlets in MRT stations because every $50, every $100 mattered at that time, right? And he brought me to the next day, to the next day, to the next day. There's no passion for any fancy food. I don't even know what fancy food is. My favorite dish was one chicken wing fried with tomato sauce. When my mother made that, it just, it was heaven. So if you ask me what inspired me, right? I didn't miss anything when I was young because I never had anything. So when I started on my journey and I started making some money and I started up my leadership journey, slowly learning from leaders, learning from experienced people, then becoming a leader myself, right? And then imparting all this knowledge down as well. I would say every day, every month, every person I speak to is an inspiration. Right. And I think I mentioned this to you as well. The different people that you meet and you hang out with when you reach different levels inspire to be different people and reach different levels. So when I was in school, I inspired to be, okay, I want to make it, I want to pass, and all my guys want to pass as well, but we want to have fun as well, but we know we want to get our diploma, serve my NS, and everybody took care of everybody. Everybody took care of everybody. Hey, bro, come on. You need to do better than this. You're failing in this subject. Okay, we're all going to leave you behind. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, let's study together. Let's do this. Let's do that. So, inspiration comes from the people around you, right? My mom didn't work for a long time until until my dad lost his job. He got retrenched, and then she had to come out and work. She didn't have too much education, so I think her first job was $500-600, but she would keep the whole family afloat, right? With this money, and now we complain, oh, $5,000 is not enough. I have to do so many things. And I said, okay, no problem with me. I have $500. I can show you how I survive. Right. But these are small bits and pieces of things that inspired me. Right. And okay, Sakti, look at my sister. Right. She's a doctor now. She's a lecturer. So what? At the end of the day, it's who you are and what you want yourself to be.
Yep. In fact, when I meet up with Dina and I was talking to her and I say, the first time I'm talking to a scientist face to face, she was like,
Yeah, there you
really?
go.
Yeah, really. You're a scientist and it's like exciting, and yeah, and unless you mention, I would have never known that, hey, she's a scientist and she's a doctor and so on. That's how humble she was. And I do agree that, let's talk about it. Our parents in the olden days, how
Yeah.
frugal they were in terms of their finances. To be resourceful with whatever available resources they had, they made things happen, bringing us up and everything. And I think that,
Amazing.
yeah, and that in a way I think molded us in many ways. Now, for example, when we were talking about this, one of the key thing, Dave, is like, there must be something that inspired you, even when you talk about starting Sourceability from scratch. Now, that's a big challenge. It's like telling you to start something out of nothing, and you're starting from ground zero.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question.
And I'm
I
telling
tell
you,
you,
Dave,
yeah.
it's not a business venture; it's a challenge for you. If you
Yeah.
make it happen, good for you. If you don't, so what
Yeah.
inspired you? What made you be what you are today?
My biggest hero, okay, my biggest hero is actually, his name is Mr. Jens Gamper. He
Okay.
is the CEO and he is also the president of Sourceability. Okay, we started the company together from ground zero, right, from scratch, right. But I actually worked for him when I was in Hong Kong for 7 years. We were in that company together. And when we were there, the company was $40-50 million first year I joined. But when he came on board and he became the VP of purchasing and sales globally, man, the company grew to a $300 million company, right?
Wow.
In a space of I think 5 or 6 years. That journey was incredible, right? As an employee at that time, I was a purchasing manager, right? And I had so again, I left Singapore. I had this opportunity. I had $300 in my pocket. I sold my bicycle to get another $800. So I had $1,100. I came to Hong Kong second time, right? And nobody was helping me out. Okay, I checked what apartment I could afford, and I booked this place in Sham Shui Po. And this is like almost ghetto area of Hong Kong. I didn't know, right? When I arrived, so wet market here, and there was people fighting on the streets. There's fake electronic shops and this, and I said, okay, what have I signed up for? Right? Okay, there's no fear, right? But I spent 1 year. I spent 1 year learning and adapting to the Hong Kong style, figuring out how things are, because they were now going to report to me, right? And I was the one who's going to tell them what to do. And then this guy, oh, look, this guy's 28, 29. Why should we listen to him? We know everything. But I change a lot of things, right? I don't want to take so much credit, because at the end of the day, I can change as much as I want. I can tell people to do, but if they don't want to do it, they won't do it. So credit is a few buyers who were there at that time, right? They were wonderful. I changed their life a little bit, because I said there needs to be a good work-life balance. Don't forget, Singaporeans, you always go out in your shorts and slippers. Even in 7 degrees cold in Hong Kong, they could see that you were Singaporean from far away. But this is how I am in work as well, right? I look at what you're doing and I say, okay, why are you staying 13, 14 hours a day? There must be many things, that you're doing that you don't have to do, that you can cut short and be more efficient and things like that. So I don't want to go, okay, don't have to go too much into details, but after 1 year, everything was fine, relationships, even though, yes, I spoke English, I didn't speak Cantonese, I spoke a bit of Mandarin, right? But everybody got along well. And the significance of that 1 year is now a handful of buyers from 2005 are with me in this new company, right? How many years? 15, 16 years from now. From then, right? And that means I must be doing something right. Right. So that's good. I take that as a trophy. As like, okay, fantastic. right? So if they trust me, I trust them. I'm taking care of their families. They are taking care of my families. And then that's how it's been. But Jens Gamble did not come on board until after that 1 year. He started first in Germany as a sales director, and then he did so well that they moved him to California at that time, I believe so, and he became the VP of purchasing and sales. So I, after that, started reporting into him. Right, and this guy, my God, if you think that I'm full of passion, right, he's double, triple passion, and he has so many ideas that he cannot stop coming up with ideas. That we have to stop him and say, relax, right? Let's do this one thing and make this really, really good, right? Before moving on, because I cannot keep up with you. And he's what, 52, I think this year, right? Okay, so he left that company. I left early. I came back to Singapore because we're having our first son, right? And he said we didn't speak for a while, okay? Because I'll tell you, everybody's listening, right? He was not happy with me because I left him and I joined a competitor, right? Fair enough. Fair enough. I did what I had to do, right? And he did what he had to do. So we split up for a while. We didn't see each other. We didn't speak to each other. But I remember this. I think this was in 2014, right? And he called me. And I was like, whoa. Immediately, I said, I know this voice. But there was no ill feeling. There was nothing like that at all, right? Immediately when I heard his voice, it was like talking to a father figure, a big brother figure. And I was like, Jens, how are you? It's been a while and this and that. And Jens said, okay, Dave, I'm coming to Singapore. I need to talk to you face to face. I have a few ideas and I want to know if you're with me. So we spoke for half an hour, 45 minutes. And a few months later, he came down to Singapore. It was July, something in 2014. And okay, to cut a long story short, he asked me something that I always remember, I think, my entire life. He said, look, Dave, me and you, if we start a business together, we keep it small, we can do a few deals here and there, make $40,000, $50,000, and just, take it slow, enjoy life, but still be part of this business, this part of this industry, and just move forward like that. Or Dave, we can get financing and build something big and competitive, and then surprise everybody by using technology, right? And sort of modernizing the whole industry, right? What do you want to do? I told him, okay, look, Jens, at that time I was 40, maybe 39. I said, I still have a decade or two, right, to go. And who am I to say, right, that I don't have enough energy when you at that age, right, ready to go? I said, I am in with you. So that was my contribution. My contribution was mainly committing to something with Jens, and then we will be speaking almost every week, right? Coming up with different ideas. Okay, do we do this? Do we not do this? What is good? What is bad? Who should we go for? Right? Who will be our best sales guy to get? Who will be our best sales VP, purchasing VP? Who will be in accounting? So we're just planning the small pieces, and then everything came to fruition in December. So it took 6 months for planning, and Jens secured some financing. I had to go present, in different countries as well, meet with all our people who were going to finance us, and everybody was excited about the idea. And they said, okay, let's go, right? But the story didn't end there. Then Jens will come to me and say, hey, if we start a company with a new name, it's going to be very difficult to go to customers and say, give me a vendor code, right? Qualify me, because we were just building up all our inspection processes. We were building up our warehouses, building up everything, right? We didn't have too much yet. Right? So he said, how about we look at the market right now and see if there's a small company who are already in all these customers that we can then buy. And then so we didn't have to start from ground zero almost. Right? Okay. So there was this company, S&D, that was available. Jens knew them from before, and he was talking to the owner. It took, again, 6 months to get everything done. And I'm very proud of this, because when the company started, it was actually formed in Singapore. We bought S&D and made it Sourceability, and it happened in one altitude in Singapore, right? Not because we were waiting for something or anything, but we were actually out partying, right? I have to say I chicken out because, Jens Gamble can drink a fair bit and can party a fair bit. I chicken out. I left for home, right? But the three of them were still going strong. I think it was a CFO and also a guy that you know, Edmund Poon, right? Who's working with me now as a buyer, right? He's also from Nanyang Poly from before, right? So they were partying and it was 11:30 and he got a call. The owner of S&D said, okay, I've read through everything. I'm going to sign on this. I need you to sign on this 200 copies or something and fax them back to me in 2 hours. And Jens was like, what am I going to do? It's midnight in Singapore, right? And then Edmund Poon came and said, don't worry, Mustafa is open. So Jens said, I'm going to give you 1 hour. You go to this Mustafa, get me a fax machine, a scanner, right? Bring it back to the hotel, right? And then I will reward you this way or whatever. You give him a bottle of alcohol or something. So Edmund made it and 200 copies came through, right? It was faxed through to the hotel room, right? And Jens had to sign on every single one. It was 2 a.m. in the morning, fax it back. And that's how Sourceability was formed.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Mustafa played a big picture, a big role in that.
Mustafa, I'd like to thank you very much for the role you played, because if you were not open, then who knows what would have happened, right? But then after that, we started in Mountbatten Square. 5 of us in a shared space, because we had to get money in, we had to think about what kind of office, what kind of people to hire. So, but we already knew how to make deals happen, right? There was no issues at all. And buying S&D, we had a quality team, an inspection team, so we knew we could start doing business, right? So the 5 of us were in a small little room. We were doing multi-million-dollar businesses, right? Every order was going in, 50,000, 100,000, this and that. And then slowly I found this gem of a place in Juicing. At that time, it was 7,000 square feet. So we said, okay, let's take this small space first. Let's start off, right? And before you knew it, in 4 or 5 months, I had to get the mirror place next to it, right? It was another 7,000 square feet, became 14,000 square feet. And then 6 months later, there was not enough space. So I had to do ground level on the 3rd floor, 4th floor. Finally, we got the whole unit in the 3rd floor, and it was 28,000 square feet. In less than 2 years, we had expanded to 28,000 square feet, 80 people, right? And Singapore is a major player in the global market, distribution center, right? We have our warehouse, our big warehouse, inspection facilities, sales, purchasing, accounting, marketing, our online technology marketplace, had the back end team, and Hafiz Rani is running that team. He used to play goalkeeper for us, right? So he's the head of the back end team. He is processing all the orders. As technology guru, right? So Singapore as a standalone entity of Sourceability and supporting all our global offices. So that's a bit of history of
cool.
Yeah.
And the good thing about Sourceability, unlike your first company you joined, I think you are able to make your own football team within Sourceability, I believe.
Oh yeah, we have plenty, guys. Right now, if I can show you, of course, if I was in my office, I would take you for a tour. Right, I am a very I support the work-life balance. Right, so what we did when we were in 2018, we were doing really well. We're making all right money. What we did, we renovated the office. We had a lounge area for employees with a big television set, hang out at a sofa, table tennis, pool table, things like that. So everybody, because I noticed something that sometimes when you have a company size of 80 people or more, the guy from the warehouse on the 2nd floor will come up, and he had no idea who the guy from the 5th floor was. They will walk past each other. They will not talk to each other. And they go, okay, who is this guy? Never mind, right? 1 year later, he leaves the company. Nobody even knows from up there in the sales and purchasing office who that guy was, what did he do, why did he leave the company. So if any business owners are listening, if anybody is about to expand and all that, I really advise you to build a good space where people can mingle and can show respect for what each other does. Salespeople and purchasing people are not always the stars of the show. Just because they bring in that big money for the company, without the warehouse people, without the logistics people, without the supply chain people, the accounting people, nothing happens. right? So you need to know, you need to respect that person, right? You need to know who they are, where they come from, their history, their family. And I noticed in the last year, our company has really gotten together really well because of
It's
that. Yeah.
yeah, it's I think it only begins when you give them the recognition and they feel part of the family. Like an example, when I was a regular in the army, when I was a OC, every day I'll buy coffee and I'll buy 4 or 5 packets and I'll make sure the first guy who will get the coffee from me is my storeman. Now,
Nice.
why? Because I know if he doesn't turn up, no matter how much training we are doing, how many commanders are around, and how good the men are,
Oh, man.
when the ration and the supplies doesn't come in, you know that you are in for a lot of trouble. So these are the small little things that as leaders we do. I think it does make a lot in terms of gelling your team, your company, and so on. So I think
Yeah,
definitely I agree with you, Dave. That's really important. Now
we're on the
we'll move
same
on.
page here. Yeah,
We're
sure.
going to go to another topic that will be quite passionate for you. But before that, just say hi. Now to Prakash, thanks. Hi, Prakash. Hey. So, it's a message to Dave's wife that her husband is famous. All
Thanks,
right.
Sasaki, man.
And we have another question for you, Dave. But I think I'll hold this question from Iskandar for a later time. I think it's more relevant to something that we're going to discuss about. But
Sure.
Dave, since we were in the topic of people, let's talk about leadership. All right,
Okay.
something that you are passionate about, and I
Oh,
believe
yes.
strongly that just like charity starts from home, I think
Mm.
leadership is all about starting from yourself,
Yeah.
personal leadership, and
Yeah.
then you build yourself up to talk about leading a team, leading a department, running and so on. It just builds up. So, what's your take on leadership, Dave?
I explained a little bit previously as well, but if you think about it, right, a good leader for me does not do everything himself.
Mm.
A good leader must be able to do everything himself, right? Must be. When, as you said, oh, if my storeman is missing, oh, the whole company is crippled. Okay, that's where you're a bad leader because
Yeah.
then you really drop the ball. Everybody is running the company and not you. Right? So
Mm.
I can safely say that if you need me to sell, I can sell. If you need me to buy, I can buy. If you need me to go into the warehouse, pack a few boxes, do inspection, yes, I'm qualified or I was qualified before as well, right? So, but okay, am I the best in everything? Obviously not. Obviously not. So, as a good leader, you need to look at yourself and you need to hire people, right, in the different aspects of your business and get the best of the best or not make the best happen from what you have, right? So that they can do the job, right? I have this guy who used to work for me. Sadly, he just left. His name is David Ong. Okay, so he always said, okay, if you want to do everybody's job, then who's going to do your job? So that's a very famous saying for me, right? For many years, I've listened to this, right? And I agree with that statement because as a good leader, you have to empower your people, right, to do what they're paid to do. Only when they do what they're paid to do they deserve to be paid to do what they do.
Yeah.
And when we are a sales and purchasing organization, right? So commission comes from you performing and reaching your goals. When you get commission, your life, your standard of life, right, goes up. You now can spend on with your family and this and that, so you appreciate the money. And when you have the money, right, and all of a sudden your performance goes down, you don't get a commission, you will feel it. So that's how we inspire people. So leadership for me is bringing somebody in. I can see the potential from this person. If he doesn't have any experience, never mind, it's a young person, it's okay, right? I make sure as a leader I give him good training, very, very good training. I put processes in play, I put policies in play that will help him to not fail. So I tell him to walk in a straight line. But please, if you feel that walking in a straight line, right, is not getting you to where you need to be, you can take a detour left, you can take a detour right, and come back to the straight line if it's for the good of the company. Why? Because you learn it while you're working, right? While you're doing your job, you found a better method to do things. And then for me as a leader, I go, man, why didn't I think of that? Now I know why I hired him. So he does well as a leader, right? My boss says, oh, well done, Dave. You've hired a tremendous group of people who are now carrying out and meeting goals every month, every year, right? And that's exactly why I need you, right? So that's my leadership style, and that's what Jens Gamper, right, my CEO, my president, he's same way as well. Dave, I hire you not because I want to tell you what to do. I hire you because you know exactly what needs to be done. And throughout the 5 years, the 4 times that he told me, Dave, I need you to tweak this a little bit. Because why? Not because you're doing it wrong, but because I want to head in a different direction. I go, yes, sir, and I execute all the way down. So I think if you look at that and if you give a lot of power to the people and they make decisions, and when they talk to suppliers and they talk to customers, they get really confident. Because why? My boss trusts me, my manager trusts me, right? They know whatever I'm saying is representing them, right? So when you do that, right, you get a whole, it's contagious, you know. Your managers, your directors, your VP, your CEO, everybody is just passing information nicely, and everybody is reaching their goals without having to scream, shout, without having to fight fire all the time, because the flow is really smooth. So yeah, to answer your question, I don't think leaders should just tell us what to do. Leaders should be capable. Leaders should know exactly what needs to be done. But I think the most powerful weapon for me, and many, many years I've been, I said, I give you the power. You tell me. You are the guy doing the day-to-day stuff. You tell me what needs to be done. I tell you what policies and procedures need to be followed because you are now part of this company. You're representing this company. But other than that, you tell me, right? How do we get to the next level?
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah.
it's very interesting, Dave. If I piece the information that you were just telling me, you
Yeah.
make sure that you bring in the right people for the job. Of course, you do the interview, you take your time to make sure. But of course, there's never 100% that somebody will be really good in
Oh
what
yeah.
they do.
No.
And you build systems to make sure that every resources is available for him to do his job well.
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
and I think you empower him, let him do it. I'm sure you will have certain systems to somebody to guide him and so on, and let him learn along the way with the empowerment that you have given him.
Yeah.
And
Because
at a,
electronic components, right? It's a very sensitive industry trade, right? Because as I said earlier in this chat, if it goes into a laptop, if it goes into a ventilator, right? And if you fool around and don't follow procedures and policies, if you don't know, if you think you're buying air and selling air, that's not the case. You have to respect the industry you're in. So the policies and the procedures, right, will keep our customers and ourselves safe. We're always doing the right things. But when you have to think out, of the box a little bit, then yes, that's for different things. Like how do I make so when I talk about technology, right? This human to human interaction, email to email, we're doing so many things, one email after another. Can you help me look for this? Oh, I found this. Let me come back to you. Oh, can you reduce your price? Okay, I can go on and on, right? 50 emails later, you finally get a purchase order, right? Technology is going to change everything. My system is going to talk to their system. Anything they need, they hit a button, and that system is going to give them the answer. So at the end of the day, the 9 things that I have to talk to a customer or supplier about actually is gone down to 2. Everything else is done by the system. Right. So, don't worry about Amazon and Alibaba when they use technology, cloud computing. Wow, what is this? I don't know anything. No, actually, technology is just about cutting steps, human to human. And it comes into play during the COVID period.
yeah,
Exactly what we were planning to do 5 years ago.
true. In fact, I think that's an interesting point, Dave. I think digitalization or digital transformation
Oh,
has
yeah.
been a buzzword for the last few years. But it's not about just having technology, but I think it's about solving problems to be more efficient for our customers,
Yeah.
and to have systems, and you just
Correct.
choose the right tools and technology to be able to do that. So in
Yeah.
that perspective, I guess you need your people to be able to identify the key areas.
Exactly. Human beings shouldn't be afraid of technology, right? We will always be the hamsters behind running in the wheel.
Yeah.
No way AI or any robots or anybody technology can replace what human beings do. A lot of time customers feel comfortable when they have someone to speak to and this and that. But
Yeah.
we're trying to, there's a lot of pain points, there's a lot of small things that you don't need to talk to anybody, get a hold of anybody. Right? Remember at the start of this chat, I told you that there are maybe 70 components of a laptop that needs to be bought before everything comes into play. Can you imagine there's 40 or 50 commodity buyers all making sure that everything is bought, ordered, and coming in time and this and that? Don't you think that technology, a hit of one button, speaking to somebody's machine, doing design, doing this, can help these buyers? Because that's something that's going to change for 40 years, Sadi. The same buyer has been buying the same electronic component for 40 years the same way and putting it on boards the same way for the last 40 years. I mean,
Yes.
okay, it's about this time that we should look at things and try to fix it, make it easier for us.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that a lot of things or a lot of plans and strategies for digitalization and using technology, has been there. But I
Yeah.
think in one single stroke of COVID-19, you realize that everybody is now forced to do it. It's like you do it or for survival. You better do it. In fact, what was surprising is that many funds dropped, but technology funds started going up.
Oh
you know
man. Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's Zoom and online portals. I see guys who I never imagined would ever go online. It's like those guys.
payment, online payment companies, online shopping companies. It's just wow, the last 3 to 4 months. You're right. The stock has just gone up.
It just went up, and you realize that it's the circumstance, the situation, right? So sometimes I get to think that but those guys who started embracing that, started planning that, they had an easier transition compared to those of them who are still, or maybe by now they should have been already out of their denial stage to think that, hey, don't worry, things will be fine, we will be back to norm. But now, the keyword is new norm. Things are going to change, and
Yeah,
it's
but it's
changing.
like, if you think about this, okay, if you talk about all the online guys and everything they've done with technology, okay, let's talk a little bit about the COVID.
Yeah,
Okay, let's talk about how it impacted sourceability and things like that.
yeah,
Okay, a lot of us were still using desktops. Okay, it's as I say, it's still a bit old school. Desktops are more powerful. We have a lot of sensitive information. We want to keep in house, things like that. Right. So when this happened, immediately we said, okay, everybody take a taxi. We're going to pay for it. Bring your desktop home, sales, purchasing, anybody that can work from home, accounting, HR, right? Bring your desktop, set up at home and take note. This might be a marathon, right?
mm,
And it's not going to be 1 or 2 weeks. It might be 2 months, 3 months. We don't know, right?
yeah,
Settle yourself down, have some space between your husband, your wives, your kids, this and that. But we need you to continue to work because demand is still very strong,
mm,
right? That being said, that being done, today my CEO, president, made a speech. He did a recording of a speech. He says he's very proud of us because we were talking about digitalization, transformation, and sourceability is doing way better than the whole of 2019, the last 4 or 5 months. And everybody is almost working from home. But remember this, I said hamsters and the wheels, right? If
yes,
the guys in the warehouse did not come back, right? They are at risk every day. They have to take, okay, Sourceability did well. We said everybody take a taxi, we pay for it because, we don't want anybody to get sick. But these guys came back to work. These guys came back to work every morning. We split it into 2 shifts, right? They did their inspection, they did their logistics, and then FedEx, UPS came, collected the goods, sent it out to the customers in Germany, in the US. Digital transformation, digitalization. Well, okay, yes, you can process orders, you can process airway bills online, you can do accounting, right? But if these guys are not there to ship the product out, you're not going to get your ventilator out, right?
yeah.
You're not going to get, yeah. So then, there are industries who can go and make this change and say, hey, I'm really proud of this. But don't forget, behind them, there's always someone who has to come back and still, I don't see a solution for that.
Yeah, and it reminds me of a old movie that you will resonate. Terminator, when he first started. There's
Yeah,
this saying,
yeah,
everybody is talking about technology, but at the end of the day,
yeah,
technology can go wrong, but people, if you have the right
yeah,
people around you, things will just go on moving forward. Having the right people, the right mindset, and yes, I do agree. Even being in the military and whatever, you can have the best technology, but if you don't have the right operators, and that's people, of course,
yeah,
there to do the job, like what you say, hamsters running, you find that
yeah,
it's just a piece of technology or equipment lying down there.
correct.
So there should be a balance, I believe.
Yeah. So I've been watching the news a lot as well, all the international news, right? Because this is my norm in the morning. I wake up at 6:45, 6:30, send my kids to school. Now school is back, right?
Yeah.
Then I come in and switch on all the news channels because I want to know what's going on. Right. So, there's a lot of people talking about, oh, I'm so happy that we have all moved to technology, this and that. But I'm wondering behind the scenes, hey guys, how did your package ship out? right? Who came to collect it? Who prepared the package? Who collected it from like all your shops, all your partners, right? And who delivered it to me? Because hey, Amazon is big. I ordered 5-6 times already since the circuit breaker period and things like that, and they come in 3-4 days. Amazing, right? But there's always people behind the scenes, so people shouldn't be afraid that they're going to lose their jobs because of digitalization and transformation. No, actually, they're going to get to use their brains more because they're going to use it for a higher purpose.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's like challenges and adversities sometimes bring out the best in people. And I'd like to actually just say it on live that I was inspired. We met up just prior to the, it's not right. Okay, we did not meet during the circuit breaker, but prior to that, we had a chat, and then there was a time where things were changing. And there's this one thing that you told me that made me really think, hey, this is the kind of leader I would like to work with or be with. When you say that at this current climate, my biggest focus as a leader is to make sure that none of my guys or every of my guys is able to feed their families, come for my job, and my job or responsibility to make sure that happens. So if I need to transform and make things happen, I'll do that. I think that is a very strong statement I heard from you, Dave. Yeah. And the softer side of a leader, the warm side.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been very sentimental. I think I get it a lot from Jens Gempel as well, right? My COO, who is Mr. Frank Bruno, he's American. And when I came back to Singapore, I worked for him in his company. He sold his company off. I introduced him to Jens, and then Jens came together with him and then hired him as a COO. So he's a different guy. He talks about statistics, charts, graphs, and he manages people that way, right? Jens is a little bit more sentimental, people person, but together they're fantastic, right? Together they're really, really good. So Jens, when he makes a speech, like for example this current recording, and when he talks to people and he thanks them for everything that they're doing for him, the company, right? He's almost in tears every single time. Right, and it's raw emotion, right? He's never faked it in his life. He feels everybody, he knows everybody, he loves everybody, and if somebody is down because they cannot take care of their family, they're in trouble, then he is down as well. So I learned so much from that kind of leadership, and I am just trying to do the same, be the same good people. If I am the best of Jens and the best of Frank, then I will be the best of the best. But you're right, for this period, I'm not even thinking about profit making or this, and I'm thinking about just seeing it through, doing my best, being still a service to customers because they need us for sure, right? And then keeping everybody and their families happy.
Yeah. And I had to mention this because I think this is something that that made me feel like at that moment I could feel what a leadership should be. I could really see the warmth, the empathy that you have over your people. You don't see them as just staff working under you or with the company, but they are individual family men. Their husbands, their fathers, they have to be there. And I think that is a key for every leader out there. No matter how big your company or how extensive your company may be. I think that's the key.
I don't know any other way to manage or live my life than just to be real. To just this is what I feel and this is what I do. I told you before, who comes into their working life thinking I'm going to be in semiconductor distribution, I love this industry, I want to do this the rest of my life, right? But either God or Oracle, right, put me in that place to be in that position to do this job, and then everybody else to touch my life and for me to touch their life. So that's pretty cool. I would not take anything back. I had a lot of failures as well. I was not always successful. As a buyer, I tried to learn, but sometimes when you're young, it's very difficult. So I was not successful in my first job, but I did the good things and I moved forward. And then from then on, there was no real failure after that.
Yeah, we have a comment, Dave, from Shurshuk. He said he seems genuine, passionate, and driven. That's kind of person you want to hang out with. Now, trust me, Shurshuk, I can assure you that he's genuine, he's passionate, he's driven. And for the last 1 hour of our chat, I think this is the only time that his energy level has just went down a bit. It's like the
Was it 1 hour? Oh my god. Okay, my voice is going down. That's why.
yeah,
Oh,
it's great. It's great. It's great. I never realized it's 1 hour till I saw that. But yes,
yeah.
he's the kind of person that I would definitely want to hang out. Dave Rai. I had a lot of time. Good time with him, learning from him, and so on. And yeah, Dave. Since we talk about that, I personally believe that if you want to be an eagle, you got to fly with eagles, right? And if
Nice.
you
Yeah.
yeah, and it's always important the kind of people that you associate with. Now, I'm not
Yeah.
saying that you forgo or walk away from your old friends, but what I mean is that is there a case where it's important for you to decide who are the kind of people you want to associate with, so that your thought processes become different according to what you want.
I don't know if this works for everybody, but since I'm on this chat and nobody else is, so I'm going to tell you my opinion. My opinion is I keep a close knit group of friends. Okay, so you can count the people I hang out with. You can count this group of people mainly from poly times, because these are the closest group of people. These are people I grew into a man with, right? And this group of people, let's say, and their families now, their wives, their husbands, right? I think it's no more than 20 people. Right? This group of people have never let me down. And I hope to say that it's the same thing on my side as well. That I've never let them down. And we've started small businesses on the side together. We've invested in companies together. We have bought houses together. We've got married. We've one girlfriend, this girlfriend. But we grew up together. And these guys keep me grounded. These guys keep me being that shorts, slipper, t-shirt guy. It doesn't matter, how much you earn, what you do, right? End of the day, you're a son of Singapore. You are who you are. You speak this way. There is pride in there, and these guys remind me every single time I see them, right? When we go on holidays to Bali together, we party together, right? It's like, oh, if I have to leave them and go back into my world of working and everything, it's almost like tears coming by. But that's what you do. So, in if you want my advice, you want my opinion, why I'm successful is because I keep a close knit group of friends. Right? I don't go, I have 5,000 friends, hi bye, I hang out with people, because you should focus on your family, you should focus on your work, because these two are the most important, right? Family you have to take care of, right? Regardless if you're a man or a lady, yeah, nowadays there's no discrimination, right?
Yeah.
Either way, you take care of your family, you spend time with them. If not, why have kids? Why have kids if you're not going to spend time with them? You're not going to do things with them, right? So, I really think that this is how you should be. And that's the benefit. Because if you realize as well, 15, 20 years, I've worked with the same people as well, right? The same VPs and directors and owner of companies that have kept me employed and have appreciated me and seen me grow to be who I am today are the same guys who I am working with today. So in theory, right, whatever I've done in a close knit and keeping tight, right, to what I know best, I think that's come up all right for me. So if you wanna if you're up and coming, you're 20 plus years old, you don't know what to do. I think find friends that are close to you. Find friends that you can talk to, because you need to talk to people. Find friends that will help you when you're down, right? And just slowly get rid of everybody else who is a negative influence. I see a lot of people who go, oh, the government should give me this, the people should give me this. My boss is like that. Why he don't give me this? If you want everybody to help you all the time and you don't want to help yourself, then I'm sorry, you're not going to be a successful person. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. I like the last part when you say, it's all about making things happen for ourselves before
Yeah.
you expect, somebody to be there to help you.
Who's going
And
to
I
help
think,
you if you don't have yourself?
yeah, yeah. And I got a question, but before that, just it's from Iskandar. You talk about love your passion, Dave, and if you can start a new business that helps you to realize your life's mission, what business will that be?
I still love sports, right? So if I were to want to start my own business, I guess it will have to be sports related, It could be anything to do with sports. If one day I make it really big, and who knows, Sourceability sells and I make a lot of money, of course I can dream, right? Dreaming is free, right? So if that happens and I have some spare money, then I would like to do something in sports that helps kids and helps them to balance themselves out so that they become better adults. However, if it's a business that is supposed to make money, then I would look at what I'm doing currently and do something smaller scale but more specific to certain customer needs. So, I will focus on 3 or 4 close customers, 4 or 5 suppliers that I really know. I don't need to expand it too big because there's really a lot of companies doing it, right? And just do that because I know I can make money. Yeah. So one for passion, right? And work is also my passion, right? But if I have to make money, then I have to go back to what I know best, which is the semiconductor industry. Thanks, Iskandar.
Yeah, and I think it's a good choice, because a lot of people talk about, passion, and when you start business, it's two different entities. You see,
You must split it. You must, in your mind, you want to make money or you want to enjoy yourself.
yeah,
Yeah, go buy Zook if you want to enjoy yourself. If you have a lot of money, go buy Zook, right? And go and party every day, right? Because that makes you happy. Then nobody cares whether you make money or don't make money. Simple as that, man. Yeah.
yeah. And Dave, so failures are the best teachers. So can you maybe share with us any specific failure that you can remember? Well, I would like to just share before you go on. My biggest failure was when I failed my first Ranger selection.
Okay.
I came back and then people like, hey, I told you, Sakti, you don't deserve to be a ranger. You can't be a ranger. It was painful, but it made me, go back and clear the next year. So, is there anything, Dave, that you can, share with us? Any specific failure?
There's a few things. That I can remember. Going back to secondary school days. Okay, my secondary school, Bredo Secondary School, horrible secondary school, and there were just gangsters everywhere. People sniffing glue, and it was difficult to concentrate on studying, right? So I did not do well first time round my O levels, right? I couldn't go anywhere, and there was this the whole class of people who were coming back to redo their O levels, right? So yeah, this is a failure, right? But what I remember was when I was coming back, the principal said to us, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. If you guys couldn't do it the first time round, right? What makes you think that after wasting 1 year that you're gonna make it the second time round? Right? Go do your national service or go to IT. I mean, nothing against IT or whatever it is, right? Everything is good. Whatever you want to do, you want to go to Shatec, you want to, if you like arts, you like technical stuff, it's up to you. But for a principle from the education system to tell you not to waste your time, it actually inspired my whole class of the now defunct Bredo Secondary School, right? To then every single one of us, 40 of us, we recently just met a few years ago, so I remember this. 40 of us, all of us went to either a pre-U, a JC, or a polytechnic. Believe it or not, from Bredo Secondary, because of a negative comment from someone who's supposed to inspire us. But yes, all of us had failed, right? Because we took things too lightly. Right? It's not because we couldn't do it. Right? We needed another chance. We needed individual help, because you can help a whole classroom. Sometimes you need to help individuals because everybody is special in their own way, right? Which sometimes the education system doesn't take care of. But it is what it is. A big class has 40 people. But okay, doesn't mean someone tells you that you're a failure, that you fail once before you're going to fail again, that you're going to fail. No. Take it into your own hands and prove them wrong, because it's actually not difficult to do. So it's the same thing when I did not do well my first job as a buyer, because I was just thrown into an environment, right, that was, an old school environment. Everybody knew what they were doing. It was like a stock market, share market thing. Everybody was on the phone, making 60 phone calls, closing deals. And I was this young boy who just came out from NS, and I was supposed to talk to people and build relationships from all over the world. It was too overwhelming at the start. So I tried to catch up slowly, but, I did not do too well. Right. And that's why, after that, yes, I left and I thought, wait a minute, right? There's good and there's bad, but don't let the bad determine who you're going to be in the future. There's still opportunities for you. Yeah. So those two, other than that, Not too much. Not too much. I've been lucky. I've been blessed. So these are my biggest lessons in life.
Yeah, but it's cool, right? I mean, sometimes we talk about it. I mean, the only person who can determine us to be failures is when we decide to give up after having a few fails,
Yeah.
right? But the moment we tell ourselves, I just, the resilience to move on, I want to do better. But of course, it's stupidity when you do the same things and expect different results. You
Uh-huh.
know,
Yeah.
when you do things differently and everything. Yeah.
Can I
So
mention something? You said it right. Okay.
yeah,
Let me put it this way, right? Okay. You buy $100,000 worth of stock. Okay. Everybody is buying stock now, right? Let's say in OCBC. Okay. And let's say the price goes down 50 cents.
mm,
Okay. Are you a failure? You're not a failure, right? You know why? I don't have to take out my money. Right?
yeah, true.
I keep
You
it
got a
there.
point.
I
Yeah.
keep it there. I keep it there, and one day it's going to go up to $9.50, and then $10, and then $12. And the guy was laughing at me and saying, "Oh, you don't know what you're doing, man. You lost 50 cents." I didn't lose 50 cents.
Yeah.
Right? It's still there, and one day it's going to be $12, and you're going to see because I'm going to tell you, I told you so. So that's
Cool.
exactly what you said.
Yeah, yeah, and it's about waiting for the right time,
Correct.
and executing at the right time, definitely. And
Yeah.
Dave, so years to come, right?
Wow.
What do you want Dave Rai to be remembered for? A legacy. What do you want to leave behind?
I I mean, wow, that's a good question, right? I hope, right? I want to remain as humble as possible, right? All the credit is due to the people that work with me, for me. I'm just part of the whole jigsaw puzzle, but I want to be remembered as a guy who never let anybody down. Is that okay? Right? Never let anybody down. Oh, when they talk about Dave Rai, say, hey, the guy, I hang out with him. He was my friend, and he never let me down. Even when he came to things like going on a holiday, halfway or pulling out, or going on a holiday and then not paying my share, or just doing stupid things and behaving, not well, my family, right? My kids saying, my father was not there for me, and this and that. I just even to my bosses, I just want them to remember Dave or know Dave today as a person who never let anybody down. If I didn't have the answers, I will find the answers. Right? If I was not doing well at that point of time, like the stock I mentioned, I will find a time to get up and now be on top of where I need to be. Right. So that's I hope for the people who worked with me for many years, people who are just getting to know me, right? That eventually, when you see the legacy of Dave Rai, when you talk to people that know me, right, just do me a favor and ask them as well. Right, what do you think of Dave? Right, has he ever let you down? And I hope that more often than not, high percentage, 95%, yeah, 90%, it would say no. You know, so yeah, that's what I want to be remembered for. I want to be remembered for the guy who gave it his all, right? But still managed, in a way to do a beautiful work-life balance. But he gave it his all and always, didn't let anybody down.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Dave. And yes, I do agree. If you ask me, 45 years or 44 years, and I've known you for like half the time, yep, you have never let anybody down so far,
Right.
especially myself. So you are on the right track, Dave. Keep going strong, and I'm sure you'll have that. We have a question, and yeah, it's Chauvin. Sorry, Chauvin. I never recognize, and I call you by your Facebook page. Hi, Chauvin. Thank you for joining us. And a question for Dave. What's your advice, Dave, for business development managers to secure more leads during this period?
Okay, I'm not in sales, right? Personally, my I'm in purchasing, but in purchasing also we have a lot of business development, right? And in my area of expertise, business development is done usually face to face. A lot of the relationship we build is because we took people out of Singapore and put them into India, Korea, Singapore for weeks at a time, right? So that they could really go face to face and build relationships and come back with the knowledge and be ready. So I would say, right, if you're starting up again, it depends on your industry. There's nothing else you can do except for cold calls, right? So cold calls, business development, and you must have something very, very specific that this is what my wife taught me. This is what my wife taught me, right? Why do they want to listen to you? You are like any other company. That's what they think, right? But you have to then take the 30 seconds, the 1 minute, the 2 minute to convince them that you have something different to offer. That yeah, talking to you is actually going to help me because I get 100 calls a day, right? Well, why are you going to make a difference? So the first 2 to 3 minutes, right? When you sell your point through, right? What makes you different from everybody else? I think that's the key. And I tell you something. My business is also a very old school business. You get a 23, 24-year-old, or even a 30-year-old person, and you ask him to come and join my industry to do business development and things like that. It will be very difficult for him. Right? You need a lao jiao, a person who's been doing this a long time, a very experienced person. He picks up the phone and he knows exactly what he needs to do because that's where he's going to stand up and make a difference. So yeah, to answer your question, I know it's not really a full answer, but I believe before you send your troops out, you have to make sure they are trained and they know exactly what they're selling, because in these times where you only allow face-to-face conferences or telephone calls, right? This is where it's going to stand out. You have the 2-3 minutes and you have to make it count.
Right. Thanks, Dave. And thanks, Shovan, for the question. I hope it answers your question. Now we will move on. It's about time. So, it's been 1 hour, 20 minutes, though I'm not too bothered about the time. But again, time, sometimes we will just have to come to an end, and any good thing that happens around us, right? So, Dave,
offline.
yes, of course. For those of you, because the broadcast will be ending, but I and Dave will be going on offline for longer. I remember definitely. Now, any word of advice, for business owners, entrepreneurs, or to all our viewers who are currently engaged in our chat, Dave?
I think you were correct as well. A couple of minutes ago, you mentioned what is your passion, right? And your passion doesn't always make good business sense. So you got to be very careful with that, right? You might love baking cakes, right? You might be the best person, chocolate cakes, best chocolate cakes in the world. But I don't know that you make the best chocolate cakes in the world. And if you go a home business or you go start a bakery, there are 100,000 other bakeries making chocolate cakes at better price points. So if you don't know how to market yourself, you're not the best of the best. You think you're the best of them because you have so much passion, you really believe in yourself. In the end, you're going to fail because you have not done your homework, right? Your homework is, to see, okay, who are you aiming for, right? Who's your crowd? Right? When you have chocolate cake, who is it that you want? You want those high-end cakes in the weddings, or you want a day-to-day cake? Or what is it you wanna achieve? So I think before you put your money in, you got to really, really think about things and not be blinded by one, your passion, right? Two, try your best not to finance your own journey.
Bootstrap.
Yeah. Because if you're financing your own journey, like for example, I could have done that, right? But during bad times when we were just starting up, right, and we were bleeding, I would have been distracted because the blood, right, will have distracted me. Oh my God, how long can I hang on to this? Because it's 6 months and I'm still bleeding, right? Which is what happened in the case of Sourceability. But because we had good financing, it had nothing to do with the business, but full trust in Jens Gamble and myself and what we do as a company, right? So they said, okay, go ahead. We know that it's going to take a couple of years before you turn a profit, but we like the whole story behind everything and we think you can succeed. So there's two things really, right? Don't let your passion get in the way. Business has to be about business, right? It has to be about everything, but not just something you love. You can do something you don't love and be successful. And second thing is financing. I would advise you to get good financing from, depending on the size of your business, group of friends, right? Close friends, family, or even, whatever financial institutions that you can get your hand on. So you can focus on making the business work and not about money.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. I think that's definitely an awesome advice. And I would like to also take this time, before, Dave got to go, is that, openly, Dave has always been somebody inspiring to me. And I want to openly say this out here because we met up in a shop when, he was buying some food. And it's after many years, Dave was back and he was going to his in-laws' place. We met up and, yes. And we met up, Dave, and I think since then, whenever I meet up with him, whenever I meet up with him in the office and have a chat with him and I come back, I always feel inspired, the feel-good factor. So I would like to, openly thank Dave, for all the advice, not only for today, but along the years as a good friend. I would even say as a good mentor, somebody who's always a good well-wisher, and it's always a gift, within the business circles, or within friends, to be there for each other and to be able to share, especially business ideas,
Yeah.
to sometimes keep you in check, right? It's like, are you sure you want to do this, and so on. I think these are things that I would like to openly, first of all, before we end the chat, to share this and tell Dave, Dave, thank you so much.
No, exactly. Thank you for everything you do for my family as well, right? As I said, when we're good friends, when we keep to this circle, when there's something I can do for you, I do for you. When there's something you can do for me, we don't even think twice about it.
Yes. And yes, definitely, Dave. Thank you so much. And it was an awesome time, Dave. In fact, I got to keep up with your energy. There were a lot of them were talking about your energy level. And I mean, I guess that's what happens, when you're a sportsman, you got a lot of energy within you, and you are home and you're not able to expend that energy. This is
I enjoyed it, right? I this is my first live chat. I did not know what I was getting myself into, right? Of course, I do a fair bit of public speaking, presentations, and things like that. But it's good to have that little bit of nervous energy because it keeps you on your toes, right? And then when the flow starts, you go boom, right? And that's how people should be. If they really believe in themselves, in their business, then you could see it straight away.
Yeah. And thanks, Dave. I mean, it was awesome. Even for myself, I've done numerous live chats, and like as I was saying, hours before we even met up yesterday, and today is like, oh, Dave is coming. I better prepare this. I was like checking on my camera, or checking this, or checking that, and I think that makes life interesting, right? To excite yourself, get out of your comfort zone, just put yourself in a certain position where you got to like be on your toes, and move on. That was an awesome.
Sorry, exactly, for everybody that's like tuning in globally, right? So a lot of people couldn't catch this chat as well because they're in the US or Europe. It's just early morning, right? The recording is going to be available on Facebook as well.
Yes, it's actually live on YouTube, and there will be a recording on Facebook, as well as I will be actually uploading this YouTube on your LinkedIn page, both Bettery and I will tag you as well. So all the social media platforms. In fact, I just put it up on Twitter as well. So it's available everywhere.
Anybody who've I've known me for like 20 over years, please say hi. I really, really want to take this opportunity, to just catch up, say hi, let's catch up, what have you been doing, what have you been up to, right? And thank you so much for everything.
Yeah, and thanks, Dave. Thank you so much. And we will catch up soon. Of course, we'll have a lot more conversations going on after this chat itself. Meanwhile, so thank you, Dave, and see you soon.
Cheers, guys. Stay safe.
All right. All right. And we had an awesome chat. Dev Rai, full of energy. And, he can go on. And that's the beautiful thing that I love about him, always keeps me going, automatically, this guy is just full of energy. He keeps giving me energy on and on and on and on. And that's it. Frankly, if I had to go on for another 1 hour with him, we will go on with the conversation. Good. Now, apart from that, no live chat is complete without you. All right, the viewers, thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us, me and Dave. And leave your comments and feedback even after we have done with the live chat. Just leave feedback for us to continually do it better for you. And now it's time to say goodbye. So remember, now there were none before me and there will be none after me. Therefore, it makes me the one and only your truly Shakti. See you next week and keep moving forward.